So what I'm doing here is we have to load this car up and bring it to our new shop out in Moab, because that's where it's going to be finished. So I'm temporarily gluing the back window into the car. Now, what I got here, I got some urethane glue. Alright, this is very cheap and inexpensive. It was only like $7 or $8 for this tube. But I'm putting the urethane windshield glue in each corner, protruding it out approximately 4 inches out on each corner. And then what I'm going to do, 4 to 6 inches, what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue the window back in there temporarily. Now, before I did that, I went ahead and cleaned out the window opening very, very well, grinding it down, getting rid of all the surface rust and everything that might be in the way. And I went ahead and took POR15, and you can see that. I took POR15 and I put 2 coats of POR15 all the way around it. Now this is very important if you're restoring a car. You can see where it was pitted out right here. I got rid of all the rust, and then this piece of course goes into the vehicle, this section right here, and I even POR15 that. And what that POR15 is going to do, that's going to kill that rust and completely deteriorate anything that might come back, and it will also protect it for many, many years. So when and if you restore a vehicle and you get to those window openings where they're really rusted looking and they're on the verge of, if I leave it like that or if I just prime it or paint it, it might rust out and rot from moisture, always use your POR15 in the window opening areas of these old classic muscle cars, because that is one of the most horrendous areas that actually collects rust, rot, and deterioration. And the reason I say that is because the chrome that goes around these, there's a piece of chrome, and if you look right here, you can see there's a clip where my finger's pointing, and the clips are on there, and then you put your glass in there, and of course there's a gap in here, and they don't seal those windows up properly because these cars were never made to be restored. They were at the factory, you know, get them down the line, sell the car, we don't give a shit what happens in the future, bam, 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 and it's gone. They made their money. But they don't seal that up properly in here, and what happens is water and deterioration, dirt and rot will get down inside here, and it'll settle. And once that gets filled up with dirt, what happens next is that dirt and that dust and that trash that is settled inside that chrome, because it gets down underneath the chrome and goes down in there, what happens is it gets moist and it stays wet all the time, and then of course down in this area it really starts getting bad. And it looks like we caught this one just in time. If that would have been any worse, we probably would have had to replace that section right here. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is protect your window openings. It's very important. Alright, and the best way to do that is by using your POR15 after you clean it out and get rid of all that trash that's left behind and the surface rust and anything else. This was not sandblasted around this window opening. I don't prefer that due to the fact that if this metal is really, really bad, and this isn't bad here, it just started to pit, as you can see, and I caught it. But if it's really bad and you start sandblasting, what will happen, it will literally rip this piece of metal apart if it's real thin, so you don't want to sandblast that. And then the next thing that you want to do is let that dry, and it is ready to go ahead and put your windshield back in the car for many, many years of protection. Always remember, your POR15 is a tool that is going to help you out and protect your car in the long run. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to put this in, and I'm hoping that this isn't the right glass. Where the f did this glass come from? Is this the glass that goes in here? Because no, it's not. That's not even the glass that goes in this car. Let me go get the right glass before we really... All right, I found our glass that goes on this car. Let me flip it over here. And I'm going to show you an example of what we're talking about on rotted, deteriorated urethane glue, and actually what makes your car leak. And we also have some of this butyl here. And this is the stuff I was talking about that seals it up. As you can see, it doesn't get hard and it stays soft. So what I'll do to clean our glass off around the edges here, I'm going to go ahead and take a scraper blade. This is a retractable fold-up one, as you can see, very old, handy tool to have. You can replace your razor blades in it, and it costs pennies on the dollar. We're going to go ahead and just scrape around these edges and remove that glue off of the glass, just like this. Now, I'm not really concerned about getting every single piece of glue off of here, because once again, this is for temporary use only, because we'll be taking this glass back out. But when you install your glass permanently, you want to make sure that it is very clean from all debris and old glue. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and clean the edges of this glass off where the glue is going to be. And if you were installing your glass permanently, once again, you'd want to make sure that your glass was cleaned thoroughly. And all I'm trying to do is just glue it into, yeah, you got it, temporarily. But the real situation is, on this video that I'm making for you here, is using that POR15 to your advantage. POR15 is a good product. Don't let anybody fool you and tell you that it's not, because if they tell you that POR15 is a bad product, that means they got their I will say this, POR15 does not work on grease and oil. If you use POR15 on a dirty piece of metal and you think it's going to work, forget it. It's just like anything else. It'll not work. It'll come off and it'll look like, and then you got an option to complain about it and tell everybody it's junk, which it's not. So we'll go ahead and take our glass without breaking it, hopefully, and we'll go ahead and set it in here just like this, and then we'll kind of force it in there so it'll glue down on the corners, because that's all we're worried about, making sure the corners hold this thing in. I didn't get a lot of glue in it, that's okay. As long as it holds, that's all we care about. So, I have now temporarily glued my glass in. Like I said, if that was a permanent situation, we would have prepped it a lot better than this. But you kind of get the idea of using the POR15 as a tool. It's good for many, many options on your vehicle. It's good for a lot of stuff. And in today's age of automobiles, if you are restoring an old car like this one, you definitely want to keep some POR15 around, because it's going to be your cheapest and most inexpensive way to kill that rust permanently. I don't care what anybody says. So that's one more job down and one more step done on restoring this car. That little job of prepping that window out took approximately an hour and a half. Wasn't that big of a deal. I had to wait overnight for the glue down in there. There it is. Okay. I'll probably put some more glue in those corners just to make sure that it stays, but yeah, POR15. It's a lifesaver, it's a rust killer, and it's a tool that you're going to need if you're restoring your car.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.